What's going on, guys? Spud here, and welcome to episode 44 of the Roundup. Before we start this episode, I just want to say that I'm having a few issues the last couple of days with my voice. So if I'm a bit quieter than normal, obviously I do apologise. But I wanted to get the video out because I've never missed a Roundup since I started. So gotta get this episode out. Also, I was really stuck between both thumbnails, so I had Cloud9 or Mercules or Optic, but I've gone for Cloud9. I asked a few people, they all thought this thumbnail looked better anyway. Um, so in today's episode, we're going to talk about Cloud9 Shock FaZe, as their very slim chances for champs did slightly improve to start with the weekend, but then they didn't after. Mercules' debut on Optic is a 1-1 record, but he was the best player in the lobby both series by far. Have Optic got themselves a new gem? We'll also be looking at Toronto Ultra, who carry on their hot run of form, as do Miami Heretics. Miami Heretics now 4-0, looking very strong, potentially be number one seed as well for the final major at the DreamHack event in Dallas. We'll also be doing our predictions for the final week of online qualifiers next week. It's kind of crazy. It's gone so quick this season. Obviously, there's a few less qualifiers. But this season has just flown, honestly. Like, this is the quickest season. Like, this is my third full season of watching the Call of Duty League, the full thing. And I think this one's gone quicker than the others by some distance. But if you are new, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Do drop a like on the video. We got over 70 views on the last one, so I do appreciate it. And obviously we'll be doing our Rookie of the Year and MVP ladders. Now, obviously they will after the majors finish, they will be locked in because it's only for the regular season. So on the road to, I don't know what I did last year, but obviously we want to do the like awards, end of season awards. So obviously I can't remember if I did them after champs or not. I don't think I did. I think I did them before champs. Obviously there's going to be a couple of weeks before champs where we're going to make filler episodes basically, and then hopefully episode 50 will be the champs special because that's just perfect, you know. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. It won't be as long of an episode because of my voice. So we'll start here with the Heretics versus Falcons. Now Heretics played this quite well. It was a close series though. Pred and Exnid played well on their side, but Real and Super were very good. Real, obviously, you know, I'm very high on Real. You know, if Optic are going to replace Suke next season, which obviously we don't know what will happen yet, Real is probably one of my main choices. He had a very good series here. You know, he got 46 kills in the first hard point, which is very, very strong. Rencor got 40 in the other one. Fred got 45 for the loss. I mean, Arcites went 17 and 34. I'll show you the round 11 here, though.
Didn't know the angle, Joe. Needs to get back to geometry class. Maybe they don't have that in Australia. Arcites up top trying to do damage, though. Trophy going to shut that down. You've got the B-bomb site. Is pushing all the way through is going to be Real. I mean, Real's about to come up behind everyone. This will close out the round.
Unless Exnid does it first. But Metals is watching it now. Are you going to be aware of the flank on the other side? I feel like this has been so long, you have to know something's going on. But now they don't.
They don't. It's all down to Exnid now. His position given up not too long ago. 20 seconds to play. 1 versus 3 for the dub. Plank gets in. Now he's got to work the retake all by his lonesome. I don't think he got an AR to work with, so best of luck at this done with a sub, but who knows?
No, there's no way.
Who knows, Joe?
No, Rencor is just going to be chilling on the stage.
Oh, I agree with you, but I'm trying to preach the miracle. Able to get one. Instantly traded out. Heretics.
Yeah, basic win there for Miami Heretics. And yeah, they're honestly such a good team. Now, I saw there was a Rookie of the Year debate between Rencor and Super, because obviously you've got to remember that Super has come into this team and to replace Lucky, and they now look like a different team. A bit like how Neptune did with Surge, but Rencor has been very good all season, you know. You could argue he could end up being in the he could end up getting in the All-Star team as the 4th best AR, but I've got a Boozer just ahead of him at the moment. But yeah, Super is very, very good. And now if he was playing on the entire season, he probably would have been Rookie of the Year, but obviously he's only been in for half the season, so kind of a small sample size. And then we had Boston Breach versus Optic, and you know, going into this, I was expecting Optic to win. They almost complete the reverse sweep, but they're not able to. But if we actually look here, Shotzi was really poor here for Optic. Everyone else played all right. I mean, Mercules was the best player in this lobby, but obviously you don't get MVP if you lose. It was a good series though, and I think Optic took a lot of positives going into that other series of the weekend from this match. It was just a slow start, obviously with Mercules on the team. I mean, even himself, you know, 0.79, he struggled to start with, but then he dropped 1.55 in map 3. He went 32 and 14 on the rewind hard point. You can see that he brings a lot of good players to this team already, and the kid's a rookie. I mean, Snoopy played well. I'd say Cammy played quite well. I don't know who MVP, probably went to Snoopy, yeah. But yeah, I think Optic, genuinely, after the loss, I was disappointed, but it's not like when they were losing with other players on the team. It genuinely wasn't the end of the world. Yeah, it's very likely that Optic will get 8th seed and they're going to have to play FaZe or Thieves. But even if they got 7th seed, they would have had to play FaZe or Thieves. So either way, they're going to be playing FaZe or Thieves at Champs, if they get to Champs. I mean, they're 40 points ahead of Cloud9 and Rocker now, so I would expect that they will do, but obviously you just don't know. Anything can happen. What happens if one of these teams goes on like a top 3 run at the major? And then we had probably the shock of the weekend. FaZe lose 3-1 here to Cloud9, and this was a very good series out of Kremp. Who went 1.18 KD, got the most kills in the lobby. The Search and Destroy was dominant from FaZe, but yeah, really good series here for Cloud9. I think they needed this. Everyone played well on that Cloud9 side. You know, all of them were only 2 kills off being in the green anyway, bar Kremp obviously. Simp had a rough one. You know, I saw that Maven has got Simp as MVP for this season. Like, I don't even think he's in the top 3. You know, I think Major 3 and 4 he's actually been like pretty disappointing actually. And if FaZe have a bad Major 4, I don't know what'll happen to be honest. I mean, look, if they win Champs or EWC, it'll be fine. But yes, good series here though from Cloud9. Really impressive. I didn't actually watch the first 3 maps, and then I saw that Cloud9 were 2-1 up, and I was like, oh, that's quite good. But I didn't actually expect them to hold out and win. But yeah, well done. Now, if they'd beaten Miami here, there wouldn't have even been a debate on the thumbnail. But obviously, we just did a Miami one recently, so that's why I didn't want to do another one. Because I like to spread out. So this is only the second Cloud9 thumbnail of the whole season. We obviously did a Cloud9 one when Sib was restricted free agent originally, before the season started. But they did lose here. This was more of a reality check. They took map 1 as well. It was looking strong, but I mean, everyone played well here. Super will get the MVP. Real, brilliant again. Everyone played well on the Heretics side. And yeah, Miami Heretics are definitely a top 5 team. I would argue there's a 5-team league at the moment because I do believe that Heretics can also. I mean, they've shown it they can beat FaZe and Thieves. I think Heretics, Surge, Ultra, FaZe, Thieves are the top 5. 6th place you can argue is either Boston, Ravens, Optic. You know, but I'd say there's a 5-team league at the moment. It's still way too early to say about Optic, but yeah, Capsule had a bit of a rough one here in terms of the damage as well. You know, Sib actually had the most damage in the lobby, so it's not too bad to see that. But yeah, well done to Heretics. Jeez, my throat is so bad. This is like a quicker roundup than we would normally do. Then we went to a game 5 here, Rocker versus Gentlemates. Gentlemates almost took a series, but they failed to do so. Kismet had a good one. Fellow had a bit of a rough one. On the other side, Nero played really well here, 1.22 plus 20, very good. I'll show you the round 11 from LAG though on map 2.
Going the memory banks as a stinger. Nero playing absolute patient card. Estriel the opposite. Johnny this time. He in the receiving end of the first blood. Advantage LAG.
Least clutch team in the league.
Stop saying it. Stop saying it.
Least clutch team in the league.
Chart, stop saying it. The trophy's in the middle of the field. He's just chucked wherever Gio's just loved it right at you. He's just flying at it. Absolute destruction, LA.
Rocker have no ice. We've said this. They end up obviously winning the series in S&D, but like the amount of game 5s this team has lost is ridiculous. I mean, round 11s. Normally it's in the game 5, but they obviously did it in game 2 there. And then we had Thieves versus Falcons. And look, Falcons did okay on the control, but this was a pretty easy win here for LA Thieves. Everyone played well on the Thieves side. The ARs, though, for Vegas Falcons, 0.5 from Priest to 0.69 from ROTYs. Look, we don't know what the Falcons are going to do after. Obviously, they're not making champs, so I think they're just going to stick with the EWC team as well. But next season, you keep Pred, you keep Xnid, you get 2 new ARs and see what happens. I could definitely see them going for Sib, to be honest, but we'll have to see. To finish off our Saturday, though, we had Carolina Royal Ravens versus the Green Wall. And, you know, I thought Optic would win this, but I didn't think they'd win so convincingly. It was a very dominant 3-0 here. Everyone played poorly on that Ravens side. TJ did okay, I guess, actually, if you look at the stats. Dashi had a bit of a rough one. Hugh played well. Shotzi played well, but Mercules, 1.51 KD. He went triple positive in the control. 34-11 to see this series out. This kid is gross. He is very, very, very good. Let me tell you now. I think Optic look a lot better with him in the team. Yeah, the Boston result was a bit disappointing, of course, but only in the short term. I think Optic can definitely go for I really hope Optic can at least get better than a top 8 placement at this next event, because it would just be nice if they could even just make a Sunday at this point, because they haven't done that all season. I mean, they're 2-1. They've got Gentlemates and Ultra. You expect them to beat Gentlemates. Ultra might be a bit more difficult. If they can go 4-1, though, that would be brilliant. 3-2 should still get them in winners bracket, but they might be playing like a solid team, like a Surge or something. I don't know who they're going to play, because this is the thing, like, Surge are only 1-2 because they had a bad start to the weekend. Thieves are 1-2, you know. It could be a really interesting winners bracket. Then we had Boston versus Surge. I expected this to be closer than it was, but this was pretty dominant. Neptune actually having a rough series for once, but we'll allow it, alright? I'm not going to take him off the MVP ladder for one bad series. Abuza, though, was the best player in this lobby. Yeah, good series from him. He's been a brilliant asset to that Surge team for the last 2 seasons, except when they were playing him on the SMG, which was stupid. Snoopy had a bit of a rough one. Obviously, you kind of rely on Snoopy a bit to be getting those high engagements. 48 kills isn't really high. And yeah, well done to Surge. Big points there to keep them in 4th place. And in the battle for 3rd with Toronto Ultra. Unfortunately, it was just 3-3. It was 5 3-0s in a row, actually. This one, I mean, the round 11 was close. The S&D was close, sorry. But apart from that, this was a pretty straightforward series. Celium, you know, MVP for a reason, 1.45 here. Johnny had a very rough 1.59. 33 kills in 3 maps. I'll show you the round 11 here.
He actually hits onto Kismet or not. No, he's behind the wall here. It's kind of hard to tell on the minimap if he was inside or out, but he'll stay safe. Stun check not going to land. Shots around the backside of the shelves. And here comes the play forward. And Draza, yeah, I was going to say, he's seen Johnny. And another first blood comes through, and LG are going to be trapped on site. They don't expect the FaZe to be sitting in the close corner. That's another one to fall. And now it has to be a 2v4 in total for LAG.
And now here Atlanta FaZe, all right, it's getting a little bit scary these last couple of rounds where we had man-up advantage. Already Draza at 21 HP. Just gonna play his life, but this time Celium has him covered. Fellow left in the 1v3. And with 30 seconds left, bomb down across the map. Makes it a 1v2.
Yeah, doable, but in trouble and running out of time, like you mentioned. But off the regen, back to full health. Has a chance to possibly isolate. Doesn't get the first look at, draws it cleanly. Simp goes unnoticed, unknown to that point as well. Fellow, chance at it, but no. Actually hit.
Yeah, nice play there from FaZe to see out the map, and then obviously they won the series 3-0. Pretty convincing for FaZe. Gentlemates haven't won a series since like they beat Falcons at Split 2, I think. Like it's just it is shocking how bad they are. And they'll probably give Optic a good game now. I've said that. Final series of the weekend was Ultra versus Rocker. Ultra had to wait all that time to play, and they did not disappoint. It was a very good series from the Ultra. Jordan Seaves having a bit of a rough one, just like Neptune, the SMGs not having. I mean, CleanX had a great series. Insight had a really good one. To be fair, Insight, really good series from him, because obviously he doesn't normally get like as many kills as. He's normally the least damage player, getting the least damage on the team. He got the second most this series. Estrel had a bit of a tough one, but he'll bounce back. And yeah, that's all your matches. Obviously, like I said, it's a bit of a quicker one today, just because obviously my throat's really bad, so it's only going to be like a sub 25-minute episode. Obviously, I hope yous are okay with that, because I didn't want to not have one out. But it's time for our predictions. Obviously, the final weekend of matches, and then we got a Major 4, and then we got a Champs. I mean, there is literally, what, until Champs starts? A month. So we'll have probably... we might have a week break. I'm going to make it so that episode 50 is the Champs special. That's the aim. So, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Anyway, Optic versus Gentlemates. I'm going to go 3-0 to Optic. I think we're going to see a good series again from Mercules. Ravens Rocker is actually a really tough one to predict, but I'm going to go 3-2 to Ravens. I think Rocker will run out of ice again. I think he'll go to game 5 though. Breach versus Thieves. Now, this is actually an interesting one. If Thieves have a bad weekend here, they could be starting in losers, but I think they'll comfortably beat the Breach 3-0 here. Vegas FaZe 3-0 FaZe. Cloud9 versus Thieves. Now, this is definitely an interesting one, because I think that Cloud9 have to win, because they need to start in winners bracket. 3 and 2 will probably be enough for winners bracket, because Gentlemates, Falcons, one of Ravens and Rocker, one of Breach and Thieves will get 3 losses. So yeah, if Cloud9 win, they get winners bracket, guaranteed. So I'm gonna go with 3-1 to the Thieves. I can't go Cloud9, I just can't. I think Thieves will win both games this weekend and get 3 and 2. Heretics Ravens, will Heretics score 5-0? But then if Heretics score 5-0, they will not win the event. 3-1 Heretics. And then the last game on Saturday is Ultra versus Surge. Now, this is going to be a banging series. I'm going to go 3-2 to Vancouver Surge, actually. I'm going to go with Surge to beat Ultra. It'll be a good series regardless, but we'll have to see. And then Sunday's matches, the last 3 matches of the CDL online split. Gentlemates versus Boston Breach, Toronto Ultra versus Optic, which is the game of the day, and Rocker versus Surge to finish it off. Gentlemates versus Breach, the final game. Well, actually, LAG will probably only have one other match after this, which is losers round 1, and then we'll see them in the EWC. I think Gentlemates are going to beat Boston Breach. I'm going to go 3-1 Gentlemates. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I just have a feeling that they're going to beat them. And do you know what? Optic are going to beat Toronto Ultra. I'm just going to predict 3 shock results here for the final online qualifiers. So Gentlemates are going to win 3-1 against Breach. Optic versus Toronto Ultra. I'm going to go 3-2 to Optic. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go 3-1 Optic. They'll probably lose 3-0, but still. Rocker versus Surge. I'm gonna go for the Ice to come back one last time. 3-2 to Minnesota Rocker. So if those results happen, Optic were 4-1. It's most likely that they're gonna probably be playing. I don't even know, honestly. Someone, but we'll have to see what happens with that, because that's quite hard to predict at the moment. So before we obviously go, we'll do our MVP of the week, MVP ladder, Rookie of the Year ladder. So MVP this week is pretty straightforward. It has to be, well, it's not straightforward. The options really are Real, Super, Mercules, yeah, I'd say it's between those three. But I'm gonna go with Mercules because I know he only won one series, but he was just outrageous for Optic in both series. Right, we'll start with Rookie of the Year ladder. I have actually, this might be seen as controversial, but I think because of how good he played at the LAN and his first 2 series with Optic, I'm genuinely going to put Mercules ahead of Exnid for now, because he's actually got series wins under his belt. So I'm going to keep Rencor and Super as 1 and 2 unless Optic win Major 4 and Mercules gets MVP. If that doesn't happen, Rencor Super will be 1 and 2, and I think they'll stay 1 and 2. They're not going to switch positions either. Yeah, Mercules for Exnid is the only change, unless obviously Lunas or Dylan Rex has a good Major 4 event. I don't think they're going to even change positions either, because obviously after we do our roundup of Major 4, that's it for the Rookie of the Year and MVP ladders for the season. Now, obviously, the MVP ladder's been in for a while. The Rookie of the Year ladder, though, that's pretty new, and we're going to be getting rid of it soon. I've decided not to make any changes, though, on the MVP ladder. No changes. And you know what? I'm pretty happy with that. I think Celium and Scrap will stay 1 and 2. I definitely think number 3 could change. I think if FaZe win the event and Simp has a good event, Simp could go back up to number 3. If Ultra were to win the event and Joe Deceives has a good event, he'll go up to number 3. It kind of just depends on who wins the event. I mean, if Surge get to another grand final, then Neptune will just stay there. But I think number 3 out of the top 3 is definitely possible to be switched up. But number 1 and 2, I think, will stay as it is now. I think this is probably the shortest. Let me just check this actually before I confirm. Is this the shortest ever roundup episode? $27 minutes. Well, for Call of Duty it is, because obviously our Counter-Strike special was 25 minutes and 25 minutes and 21 seconds. So this is going to be the shortest ever roundup episode, but obviously, like I said, just not feeling great, but I wanted to get one out, so you know, thank you so much for obviously being here. It is really appreciated. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Roundup. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, until next time, which will obviously be next week, I'll see you later. Enjoy the rest of your week, everyone, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.